Hello everyone, my name is Cyrus and I'm joined by my fellow friends Gaurav, Payal and Parth, and today we'll be discussing on the topic of the IT guy. So without further ado, let's dive into the topic of discussion. If we could go to the second slide, please, Payal. Yeah. So after doing a bit of studying on the topic, the problems we found in the scenario are the ones that are listed on your screen. There is over dependency on the new IT guy, as in he's being asked to do a lot of work. And the other problem that is very visible is there's no proper way of restoring any of the issues in the company. There's no documentation, there's no portal, or there's no any such facilities to do that. And there's neither are there any regulations in our to how to solve these problems. And if these problems do occur in the future, how to handle them or going back and reflecting on them. The other issue is there's no categorization of any issues as well. When we say any categorization of issue, we mean on the basis of priority or on the basis of time it takes. And there is also no standard against which the performance of the new IT guy can be measured, because he's the first IT guy of the company, the native IT guy in the company. There's no way that we can measure his performance against someone who was working on his position previously. Now, moving on to the next slide, some of the possible negative effects that is caused by this is the data migration project, which is actually the main project of the IT guy, might be hindered and might not be completed on time. And like I mentioned before, there's excessive workload on the IT guy. This might actually bring about a negative effect in his work, and many other things. And one other possible negative effect, which is very much visible, is like all of the staffs in the company are being over reliant on the IT guy, even to solve the simplest of problems. Instead of Googling and find the solutions themselves, they are just going to the IT guy each and every time. And there is a lot of unnecessary interruption when anyone is working. So that's the possible negative effects that we came up with. Now, to proceed further, I would like to invite my friend Gaurav and take it from here.
Thank you, Cyrus. Hi, everyone. So for this, I would like to explain further our agile methodology. So for arising problems, the solution we got is to implement a ticketing system in our organization. And for that, we will be using the Scrum methodology here. And firstly, I'd like to explain about the basic parameters, how Scrum will develop. Scrum is basically divided into 4 subsections, which is product backlog, sprint backlog, Scrum meetings, and product increment. Product backlog is basically the defining of the task that we need to do while maintaining our product we need to do. And then sprint backlog is the defining of the dates, is defining of the timeline that we need to follow for following that particular task. We will review all of these tasks on the regular Scrum meetings that can be happen in every 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks times. And after that, product implementation is the kind of upgradation of the product that we will make, and on the basis of the customer interactions and other kind of stuff. Next slide, please. So moving on to the first steps, this is a agile ticketing system product backlog. So we will be analyzing some of the steps, starting with analyzing the requirements. To fulfill the ticketing system, firstly, our team will analyze all the requirements and create a complete SRS documentation and identify the key functional requirements, key functionalities of the system that we need to do this. Second is implementing the ticketing issue process. So how we will going, how the user can interact with the system, how they can issue a ticket for any kind of technical problem or any kind of other stuff, and if they need IT support. So creating a ticket issuing process and implement the prioritizing algorithm as well. So whatever the ticketing, the IT system will get, either it's on the prioritized basis, either it's a normal ticket. So we will define that process as well. Third is implementing the ticket resolution process. So how the things will go after getting the ticket to the IT staff. how they will do that, we will implement this process and we will check the time frame for that as well. So for example, a ticket is getting and we need to solve it within the 1 week maximum time, place the ticket according to the urgency as well. Fourth is create a self troubleshooting process. So to handle this process more efficiently, every ticket cannot be go to the IT team. So, and we need to remove some kind of burden from that. So we need to automated command system as well. So user can interact with the system and they can resolve their queries on their basis as well. Next slide, please. Moving on, that is bug fixing and testing. After completing all the steps, we will proceed with the bug fixing and testing. We will initialize this process on the after completing every single process, but to ensure, we will run a complete testing after creation of the system and identify the bugs, and we will try to resolve as many as we can. Last is running the necessary updates. It's a last process, so we will do all the updates. We will check the system then, and we will check the SRS documents one again that we have completed. We will check the verification and the validation process in this stage. Next slide, please. So here is the sprint backlog, how we will proceed and what are the timelines. And this is the initial timelines we are focusing on, and that will go with the sprint meetings. Analyze the requirements will be for 2 weeks, and the dates are specified. Implementing the ticketing issue processes for 3 weeks, implementing the ticket resolution processes for 3 weeks, and creating a self troubleshooting processes for 3 weeks again. Next slide, please. Bug fixing and testing is 2 weeks, and running the necessary updates is 2 weeks. The whole process will take around 3 to 4 months. It's around 12 weeks to 14 weeks period of time, and that will our sprint meeting will go on the regular basis. Next slide, please. So this is the last process, like changes to the ticket management system. So this is a kind of going on process. We will once implement the system and we will release the prototype for the user experience. Then we will analyze the system and check that these are the things, these are the possible things we can change on the systems. First is upgrading the ticket issuing parameters into the urgent versus non-urgent things. So whether the customer can take a ticket or an employee can take a ticket, so that can be on the urgent basis, that can be on the non-urgent basis as well. So IT staff will check that and that process that as well. Adding the new functionalities like paid tickets. So if some of the external sources have some problems, some of the external parameters are influencing, and some of the other things are affecting the system, then the outside people can take the paid ticket. They have to pay some amount of minimal amount of, and then IT staff can handle their process. Like, and second, a third is upgrading the user manual. So we will regularly upgrade our user manual so that users can interact with the system very efficiently and they can resolve their queries without needing of the IT staff. Then fourth is add a password recovery process. This is a very important process, and we will implement this as soon as our prototype will get passed. And last is automatic upgrading to ticket timeline to complete. So there is a defined timeline we have to always specify for ticket resolution. And but for example, if the current timeline is 2 weeks and for somehow it got extended, so system will automatically extend it to the possible parameters, and user will get a notification that your timeline is extended to 3 weeks from 2 weeks. So this will create a less hassle process, and it will affect your efficiency as well. Next slide, please. So this will be all from my side. Now I will pass to the Payal. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Payal, and I'm going to talk about the actions and principles we used for the particular task. So the first action I have added is task planning, which we take from principle, which is a final work product. Of course, before and like once we get the task, we have to plan accordingly and then make a final product so that we can deliver to our clients or the users accordingly. And the second one is agile estimating. Again, we take it from one principle of the agile methodology, which is agile processes promote sustainable development. So in this action, we should be realistic, not optimistic, and also estimate based on smaller units of work rather than the larger ones. Third is user stories development. According to this principle, we also again take it from the general principles of agile methodology, which is agile processes promote sustainable development again. So in this, we should be rely on that goal to develop feature, like as before Gaurav mentioned about the ticketing system. So we have to focus on that ticketing system to improve, and so that the users or the clients, whoever using that particular ticketing system, not be disturbed or interrupted or get irritated. And fourth action is backlog management. Again, we take it from the same principle, and the same principle, which is the agile processes promote sustainable development. In this, even Gaurav mentioned this before, backlog one. So in this, there are two types of backlogs to consider. The product backlog is the master list of things to the build into the product, and the second is iteration backlog. Second slide is about principles. So yes, in here I consider two principles, which is teamwork and collaboration. And the second is divide large chunks of work into smaller, which is like in teamwork and collaboration, we can consider more you have team, you can work accordingly and figure out and complete the task on estimation time. And also the project manager, who gonna be the project manager or owner or anyone, maintains the plan, but it is really the team that owns the plan and is responsible for meeting plan requirements and deadlines. Second is divide large chunks. Again, this is the way we have to divide our task. For example, in ticketing system, if somebody is sent a ticket to us, for if I am not possible to do it, and I can put my actions that okay, I have done this. If somebody else have anything to not do or something, they can put in the discuss chat and we can act accordingly. That's what we took it from principles of agile methodology. And that's all from my side. Now I will pass it to Parth.
Hello guys, as my colleagues were discussing about the agile method regarding the ticketing system, so there were minimum risk and measures to be taken for this one for any of the projects, as we all know. So there will be a centralized system for the ticket system as to organize everything, and there shouldn't be any hassles or trying to figure out what the issues are going on, and resolution process as well. Then there would be automatic management of tasks would be going on, using the ticketing system to manage the process like ticket categorization and prioritization, such as incidents, requests, and some of the tickets would be having some urgency to resolve, and some of them with a higher priority. So we need to make sure that we are having automatic management of the tasks. Then better customer experience. It should be having, if there is no better customer experience, it would be having an issue. So troubleshooting and the basic steps, agent assisted support in the terms of consistency and transparency, along with FAQs as well. So if there are any users who are having issues, they can just go through that one. That would be helping them. Next slide, please. So enable prioritization of the work. The ticketing system enables the request to get prioritized according to requirement and difficulty of, instead of being handled in the order they are received. So lots of times it happens like users are not aware about technology. They are just raising a ticket such as incident or request, and they are just writing keyboard is not working or the screen is frozen. But that's not a major issue, and they are just writing as an urgency. So we just need to make sure that how the users are raising a ticket. Then we just need to make sure we are having an inbuilt tracking system and the reporting system, that whatever users or employees are just going on, working on that software, at the end of the day, we are having all the reports that what's the status of the users, how many users have been affected with the same issue, is there any major issues going on around the company. That will make our application good and easy for users as well, and it will be having all the records. And thank you for that one. This was all from our team.